Hi, everybody. Welcome to Friday's Focus on Finances. My name is Jamie Fleming, and today I'm going to talk about 10 steps to help empower women investors. And this is something that, if you've heard me speak at all, I'm very passionate about, and that is that every woman needs her own financial plan. And that's because our financial strategies are often, and our needs are often a bit different than our male counterparts. And this is for a variety of reasons. So I wanted to share some of these things with you and then give you some tips to increase your confidence in this whole process. So one of the reasons is that women continue to earn less. And despite our increased presence in the workforce, the average woman working full-time still earns 81% of the income earned by our male counterparts. And this is significant. This is almost 20%. And this affects everything from earning power over the long term to our ability to save. And that goes into the next reason is that women typically live longer. So a man reaching age 65 today can expect to live on average until age 84, while as women of the same age, we can expect to live to be almost 87 years old. So as a result, women generally need to rely on retirement income for a longer span of time. And we also face higher healthcare costs because of it. And these are all things that we need to put into our financial planning considerations when we're looking at long-term costs and income needs going forward. Women are more likely to be single later in life. Some of this is our longevity, right? So in 2019, 69% of men aged 65 and older were married compared to just 47% of women. So single women don't have the opportunity to capitalize on the resource pooling and economies of scale accompanying a marriage or a partnership. We're simply living on one income more often than not. And any woman listening to this can completely relate to this, is that women are also time starved. And what does this mean? It means that we have many roles as workers, business owners, wives, partners, mothers, and daughters. And we spend an average of 40 hours each week on unpaid work. This would include things like housekeeping duties, caretaking responsibilities for children, aging parents, or disabled family members. I can relate to this right now with both of my kids being in sports. I joke that my second unpaid job as an unpaid Lyft driver has begun now that I'm toting my kids to ballet and soccer, all these things that I enjoy, but also some of the things that take time, just considerable amount of time to do on a daily basis. So a lot of times women will come in and they'll be really hard on themselves that they haven't taken as much time and as much focus on their finances as they feel like they should. Women come in, they're brilliant, they're smart, they have great jobs, they're great moms, they're doing all these things. But the reality is that we all only have 24 hours in the day. So when you are having that time-starved feeling, this is when we have to make sure, especially as women, that we're reaching out for help and getting support in those endeavors that really time needs to be on our side, and finances is a big part of that. So if you're finding that you're saying things like, I hear this all the time, when I get my stuff together, when I get my act together, I'll come see you. And the reality is that all the reasons why they haven't got their quote unquote act together is because there just isn't enough time to do all the things. So you have to be able to be willing to reach out and create a team so that you have people working with you and for you when you have only limited amount of resources, and time is that thing we can't get back. Women are also paying the price for going back to school. This was a stat that really surprised me, although it shouldn't, because I see the student loans all the time when people come in to see me. But many women are returning to college later and taking out student loans to pay for it. And this was the stat that was really shocking to me, is that as women, we're holding about 2/3 of all the outstanding student loan debt in the US, and that's approaching $930 billion. So these are all the reasons why taking time to get your finances in order is really important. I see women coming in with 6 figures of student loan debt. They're making good money, but how to negotiate all the resources can be quite challenging. And when we're busy and time starved and all these things going on, before you know it, 5 years goes by and 10 years go by. So for many women, financial independence is our number one concern. But what steps can we take to help achieve this throughout a woman's life? Here are a few key action items you can take to help create financial confidence in your retirement years and working up to those years. So the first thing is make sure you keep money in your own name. Every woman needs a pot of money to call her own. And this means that in addition to joint financial accounts that you may have with your significant other, you should consider keeping some financial accounts in your name only. And also make sure you maintain an individual credit history. This can be done by holding a credit card just in your name, having a personal loan issued just to you, or if you're a multi-car family and you have an auto loan, have one of the auto loans just in your name. All these different areas of credit will help establish your own credit history. I work with women all the time going through divorces or being widowed in their mid to late 40s, and they don't have the credit history necessary to refinance the home that they have, or to be able to pull money out, or to even keep that home because they don't have the earnings history. They're going back to the job market in their mid 40s, late 40s. And so there's a lot of things going on, and even more reason to have your own credit history, your own earning history. So that way, if the unforeseeable happens or the unexpected happens, that you're ahead of the game. A lot of women that come to me going through divorce especially are starting over, and they don't have all the tools necessary. But after a year or two, we can get that turned around pretty quickly and get things going in the right direction. The next is simply confront your fears, right? Are you controlling your money, or is it controlling you? Are your ideas about money and money management keeping you from becoming financially confident? As women increase education levels and continue to take on expanded roles in the workforce, we control more wealth. And as a result, traditional views about finances need to be redefined, and women need to face financial decisions head on. This is why I love working with my women business owners and my women executives. There is a lot of wealth going on, and if you're not paying attention to it, then it's not working for you as well and as efficiently as it can be. And much of the time, I hear women tell me, yes, I'm putting money away in my 401k, but I really don't pay attention to it. I haven't opened a statement. And we look, and there could be $250,000 or more. And the problem with not paying attention to it is you may not have it working for you. I've seen hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in a money market over the last 10 years that completely miss the growth in the market over the last decade. This is where sometimes we're our own worst enemies. And so if we're not confronting the fears, then we're not able to change them. So take it step by step and start getting help in those areas that make you feel uncomfortable. The only way to get through that is to start educating and working diligently through these things. Next is share the decisions. If you share finances with someone else, you need to start talking. This way you'll know if you share the same goals and dreams for the future, as well as whether you're on track to meet those goals. Also remember that disagreements are bound to happen. Good communication is key to working through those disagreements, and get communication all the time. And it's funny when we redirect the conversation from the actual dollars to what's important to each of you about these goals. then the conversation is more productive. And then each person understands what's valuable to them, why these things are important versus the actual dollar amount. When we can start having these conversations based on values and then work backwards using money as a tool, these conversations are much easier to have. And I've had couples tell me all the time how much more productive their conversations are around money now that they're talking about what's important to them about whatever the goal is. So this is really critical, and this will help minimize the disagreements going forward, and actually having a plan in place will help keep each of you focused on what your goals were in the first place. Next is maintain access to all financial documents. This is so huge. I go through all the time to help clients put together a filing system, whether it's a physical filing system or an electronic filing system. Keep your financial records accessible and easy to gather when you need them. This could include your brokerage statements, insurance policies, retirement plan statements, tax returns, and other important documents like your will or living trust, your powers of attorney for health and finance. Keep a record of who owns each account. Be sure to notify the person responsible for handling your estate, where all your documents are, and whom to contact in the event of your passing. If you don't have even your most basic estate planning done, that means your will and your financial powers of attorney for health and finance, and something happens unexpectedly, you're going to be putting your loved ones in a position of having a lot of chaos going on, when the reality is they're going to be mourning their loss. So these are things that you can put in place now to help those should the unexpected happen sooner than later. So a will, financial powers of attorney for health and finance at a minimum. Most people that I see need a living trust, which would include all those things and help you avoid probate altogether, which is also another time-consuming, expensive process when somebody passes without a living trust or a will. The next tip is to always pay yourself first, right? Fund your IRA, your 401k, and other retirement accounts to the maximum. This will reduce your taxable income today and allow you to benefit from tax-deferred compounding as well. When you leave your job, or if you take on another business, consider rolling your 401k funds into an IRA rollover. An IRA account balance can continue to grow tax deferred, so you don't lose any of the tax benefits, and you'll usually gain the ability to choose from a broader array of investments than is likely available in your employer's plan. The nice thing about having an IRA rollover is that if you do have multiple employers that you've left, you can consolidate all those prior employer plans in one IRA rollover umbrella. The other thing to remember is this. I have a lot of highly compensated women executives as clients, and women that generate 7 figures of revenue in their businesses. And they've all been maxing out their retirement funds for some time, yet their incomes have also increased over time. So the one thing I need you to remember too, as you become more highly compensated, is that you may have to start funding other accounts outside your IRA and your 401k once you've maxed those out to keep up with your retirement goals. This actually will benefit you in the long run at retirement as well, because if we have different buckets of money, some pre-tax, some tax-free, some post-tax, then we can look at the best way to take those monies out when you need them at retirement, depending on the circumstances. The next tip is choose a financial advisor wisely. It's important to work with a financial advisor that you trust, that you're comfortable with. I have many people coming in to me that have been using an advisor for a long time, and it's almost like they feel like they're breaking up with them, but they haven't really appreciated the experience. They haven't been getting what they need. So make sure when you're working with someone, ask for referrals and interview advisors until you find that person that you have good rapport with, that you trust. And don't be shy about asking tough questions and checking on credentials. The title financial advisor is very broad. So whether you're just an insurance agent or a stockbroker or a financial planner, or you do assets under management, all those titles can be distinct titles and they all fall under financial advisor umbrella. So you want to make sure that you have the advisor that has all the credentials that you need for your specific circumstances. So make sure you ask a lot of questions, make sure it's a good fit, and don't be afraid to look around to see what else is available so that you are ensured that you're making good choices in who you're working with. The next tip is to put your plan in writing. I know this might seem basic, but ask your financial advisor to help you create a formal, written, long-term financial plan, right? A written plan will provide the framework for defining your financial goals and helping you shape your decisions. It also will help you set your sights on those goals in the long term and help you keep track regardless of market conditions or unexpected life events. So many people come to me and one of the first things I ask them is if they have a financial plan coming in. And a lot of times people will say yes. And here's some of the other things that come right after. And when I ask to review it, sometimes they'll say, well, it's not written down, which kind of technically means you don't have a financial plan. Just running numbers isn't a financial plan. A financial plan includes all these goals that you have set and helps you make decisions in regards to your finances, what kind of investments you need for how long and what types. Also looking at risk management to make sure that your assets are protected as you're accumulating them. The other thing that happens is that maybe someone developed a financial plan for you in the past, but it hasn't been updated for 5 years or more. So here's the thing about a financial plan. It's a very dynamic, or it should be a very dynamic tool for you to use, meaning it should be updated at least once a year, more if your circumstances are changing often. So you want to be able to take your financial plan and modify it as changes happen, as you add goals, as goals are accomplished. You want to be able to make sure that your financial plan is in alignment with your current goals and strategies, okay? The next tip is to have a backup plan, right? Speaking of life events, don't let a critical life change, such as marriage, divorce, widowhood, or illness, derail your goals. Your financial advisor can work with you to create a financial plan to address the unexpected and keep you moving towards your goals, okay? Next is understand what you own. Working with a financial advisor is vital, but you should also know and make sure your investments make sense to you. This may require you to do some education on your own, some basic investing principles. You could take classes, read books, financial trade journals, although I know that probably doesn't sound very exciting. If you just take a moment and maybe 5 to 10 minutes a day and read a little something to add to your knowledge base, that will also add to your confidence. I am very proactive in educating my clients on the types of investments they have, what we're implementing, why we're implementing it, so that they know and they're confident that what we have in place is meeting their goals, okay? You want to look at how your investments are performing year to year in comparison to the markets. This is where your comprehensive financial plan will come in handy as well, because you can track and see how well you're doing. And lastly, plan for your family's future. When planning your estate, you can create a strategy designed to take care of your loved ones while optimizing your retirement income. So you have to work with a qualified estate and financial advisor to design a strategy for passing on wealth to your loved ones while enjoying the fruits of what you've worked so hard to earn throughout your lifetime. So financial independence starts with determining your financial goals and putting in place a plan designed to help you reach them. By implementing the steps outlined here, you can be well on your way to creating financial confidence for yourself, both now and in your retirement years going forward. I hope this was helpful. If you want to know how these tips and strategies can work for you, please take advantage of our complimentary consultation. We would love to talk to you. Thanks for joining us today, and I will see you next week on Friday's Focus on Finances.